Hello, I'm John D. Riley, researcher with Zero Point Research. Today is Friday, March 18th, and we wanted to reflect and look back on the chain of events that have happened here on the planet in regards to the solar consciousness or the solar awakening that we are given the opportunity to go through, and then the rites of passages that we've actually talked about on our last video on the 9th of this month. When we look at the chain of events that have happened in regards to the solar activity, in regards to the movement on the planet, and what humanity's wake-up call in regards to the energies of response, and this is something that is very interesting for us to look at. We have to look at so many different things that were involved in regards. We actually got to watch a country experience an earthquake, and then within minutes after experience a tsunami behind it. And with that level of task or challenge on any place on the planet, will put man's technology to the test. And at this point in time, it has been tested and it was able to show its weaknesses. So at this point in time, we are going through a tremendous wake-up call in regards to, is this something that we want to continue with? Is this something that we want to continue to plant on this planet, and to be able to look at it to see if this is the best choices? But when we look at old infrastructures that no longer serve us, we are literally stuck in a particular way of thinking. And now is a time where we have to shift. We have to go into the next level of consciousness that will allow us to bring the next level of technologies forth, the next level of understanding of how to truly harness energy, how to create the new infrastructure, to shift the paradigm into the higher service that will provide clean energy on this planet and also be safe for the life around it. And we're talking about global life in the big picture of this. So this is a big reflection for us that we got to witness during the actual solar events that were predicted, that were talked about. And this shift into the next wave of human consciousness is all about it. You know, when we look at awakenings, and awakenings can come in many ways. They can be beautiful, they can be profound, and they can also be very rude. But an awakening nonetheless. So this is our rude awakening, and we are going through this, and we have to really study, and we have to realize this. We have to take a back step, and we have to look at the implementations that we're about ready to put into our future and ask ourselves, is this the best choice that we have? And we're going to find out that we're going to be able to shift into a higher level very soon. That's going to allow us to bring in new technologies, never thought of before, possibilities on this planet, or remembering of technologies that once existed. So this is something about the great connection of the great shift that we are going through. So one of the things that is very important is in the last few days is to be the observer of the amount of fear that many were being caught in or tethered into. And this is something that is going to move past us on this planet very shortly. When we look at what happened in Egypt, when we look at the awakening of the people stood there, and they would no longer embrace fear. This is something that we are going to be given an opportunity to, but we're talking about a global event, something that is going to be happening within human consciousness. It might take one or two or possibly even three events of a nature of this size for us to go, enough of this. And this is going to be our shift into our awakening. But empowerment is one of the most powerful tools that we can have, is to seek that knowledge, to seek truth, not to believe what others are telling you at this point in time, is to find the truth within you. We all have that ability. And the people that stand before you, when they speak, you will know if they are speaking in truth. Not if they tell you that this is the truth. If you will know if they are speaking in truth. Feel their frequency, watch them very closely, and you will know. This is the most important part of today, of this time. Now, many are kind of concerned about the full moon that is coming tomorrow. That is going to be about 99% full around 11 o'clock tomorrow night, and will actually be full on the 20th, continuing. We look at this time, and this is a very powerful full moon in regards to the spring equinox, and it's closest to the Earth than it has been in over 50 years. So will this have effect on the energy on the planet? Absolutely. It's going to affect humans. It's going to affect the gravity. It's going to affect the tides. Is it going to be a trigger for Earth movements, thus earthquakes? Well, the Earth is constantly in movement. There are earthquakes every single day all around the world. So for that to change, Will it increase? That's a possibility. Now, will we have a natural disaster? Well, a natural disaster is usually labeled when mankind is involved. And that's when we label it a natural disaster, because the people suffer, or the infrastructures are destroyed, or there's chaos that ensues during the natural event. So when we realize that we've chosen to build and place residencies or technologies at certain places, this time is going to allow us to be very aware of our choices. Now, a lot of people are worried about the West Coast at this point in time. I don't feel that there's any reason to worry. You should live today just like you would live tomorrow, and live in the moment is the most important part. Not to dwell in the worries of fear, or is something going to happen, because something's always happening. But it's up to us in our reality to choose the outcome of this. Do we have the ability to balance out the energy so they're not as severe? Yes. A lot of us are doing this global work. We're using technologies, and we're also using our consciousness to balance out the grids on the planet so the reactions are not as severe. So this is something that we have to look at in regards to where we are going now. And I hope many of you kind of understand and resonate from where I'm coming from. I'm really trying to work from a deep understanding, because I went really deeply inwards for a few days here, and being guided to bring this video to you today. So let's just understand or look at life from that point, is to live in the moment, be as present as possible, and always be prepared. If you're worried about an emergency situation, remember that can happen from an earthquake, a natural disaster, from a bolt of lightning to a fire in your home. Always be prepared mentally and also physically. Have, emergency supplies for any situation. Flash floods can happen, severe weather causes an emergency situation. So we should always be mentally prepared. So when we were prepared, that brings knowledge, and that brings comfort to us, that we have an exit strategy if need be. To always trust your guidance of where to be. And it'll serve you well. It always has to this point. You have been safe. And we'll continue to be safe if we choose to shift into our higher consciousness. That's it for me, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will be talking soon.